What does trust mean to you?
So I know you've got internal and external within those, within that question. So it wasn't actually that long ago that we had this exact conversation, and you said to me, what's trust mean to you? And I said, well, I trust you. I trust that I can be myself 100%, not have a filter and all of that sort of stuff.
Which I love, by the way.
And then you went on to say, what about internal trust? I'm like, no, I just trust the people around me.
I made you very nervous.
We don't go internal. Since that conversation, that has stuck with me. And I bring that into my everyday life. So as we've spoken, I do yoga every day. And within that, I set an intention every day that is always around trust and trusting myself, trusting my body, trusting my thoughts to be whatever they need to be, and trust that, you know what, I can handle it. I've got space to be able to handle whatever comes, and that's fine. So that trust element is something that I'm working on, internal trust, and it is building, and it's building strong. It's interesting.
But that's only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, because I know that we had this conversation in preparation for the podcast and in preparation for what we were going to talk about, which you didn't know at the time was going to be you necessarily. But that's only a couple of weeks ago that we had that. But the transformation, what's that been like when there's this internal trust? Oh,
it's been incredible, because it also ties in with permission, the internal permission. You know, I trust that my body is going to do whatever it needs to do, and that's okay. And I'm going to allow it to do whatever it needs to do, because it's fine.
Because I remember, and I hope you don't mind me bringing up this story, that, you know, you guys bought a car recently, and normally that's the husband's job. Thank you, husbands all around, for doing this for us, because for us to have to push anymore. But there's this, you know, you'd normally go off and, you know, be completely away from the conversation.
Yeah, you got to hide from the negotiations. Oh, gosh, no.
I know. I know the dread that comes with it. But you said to me after this conversation, after we'd kind of broken these things down and we started talking about this internal trust and language and gaining clarity, you actually did some of the negotiations on a car yourself.
I did. I did.
My mind was blown. It was just like, excuse me?
I even test drove it, which I've never done. I've never test driven a car. The first time I would drive a car is once we buy it. And I buy a lot of cars.
Yeah.
We currently have 3 cars for, you know, in a tiny apartment. Anyway, that's beside the point. But I never do the test driving. I always feel uncomfortable. I always make, you know, my husband do it. And this time I went, and you know what? No, this is my car. I walked into the office and said, I want to test drive that car. Did all the paperwork I needed to do and drove it all out, and was there standing next to my husband as we negotiated, and I was able to help out with that negotiation and signed all the paperwork and paid for it all myself and drove out.
Coming from trusting self, giving self permission to be whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Are these the elements, I guess, of being able to speak up for what you need, what you want?
100%. Yeah.
Because this is what I see, like so often in the work that I do in the mental health first aid training and just kind of poking the bear, like that, the fun that I get to have, is that, you know, people aren't speaking up to ask for what they want or need or would like to have or would like to participate in. It's like, that looks like fun. Can I be there? These are kind of those elements that get in the way of that by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I think also people don't always know what they need.
Okay.
I think that that's part of an element because they're so internalized with their thoughts. They don't know how to verbalize it. You know, they're not willing to verbalize it as well. And then I think as a result, people don't actually know what they want.
Is that fear of something?
Oh, I think so.
And that's individual, wouldn't
it?
Yeah.
You know, we all have our own fears, our own quirks.
I know, it's fun, isn't it?
I know.
But this is where that kind of trust element comes into play, permission, seeking clarity.
Yeah, and all of the stuff that we'll be talking about today. I think it all comes within that sort of healing or growing journey that I think, I know I'm currently going through.
So what you've just basically said to me is that a conversation can heal.
Yeah, 100%.
Ooh, I like that concept.
Simple conversations. It doesn't need to always be with the therapist or whatever it doesn't need to be with medical people.
Yeah.
It's a simple conversation between friends or between strangers.
They can be quite powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.